Does wanting to use the military against political opponents, would that pass muster with the civility caucus?
That's not... Jake, you know that's not what he's talking about there. What he's talking about is marauding gangs of dangerous, violent people who are destroying public property.
Nope, he talked about Adam
and
Schiff
threatening
and the Pelosi's.
other American citizens.
So let me just say, if a Democratic presidential candidate said that you and your wife were evil and that the military should be used against you, I would say that's disgusting.
Well, thank you, and some have said that about us because they don't like my politics. I did not hear President Trump in that clip say he's going to sic the military on Adam Schiff. That's not what he's saying. You got two different clips in two different contexts. You can cherry pick a few words or lines out of a 2-hour event. We could do that with Kamala Harris after a 20-minute event because she does word salads and she couldn't hold court like that without a teleprompter.
What's going on, guys? We got to talk about fake tapper versus Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. Okay, so there's been a lot of controversy lately. Of course, a bunch of manufactured nonsense by the radical leftists in the fake news media about Trump and some comments he made about Arnold Palmer, talking about his thing. And Trump is just joking about something, but of course they're making it into, oh my gosh, how could he say this? They're clutching their pearls. How could Trump say such a thing? Like they always do that, even though they didn't have anything bad to say about Barack Obama making a thing joke about Donald Trump.
There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
But, these radical leftists are just hypocrites. And this is just how they operate on a day-to-day basis. This is why Trump calls them fake news, okay? I feel like a lot of people, at least myself, didn't really get what the heck Trump was saying back kind of when he first started off with a lot of this stuff back in 2015. But over time, everybody figured it out, or a lot of people are waking up day after day. They're also freaking out about him saying he's going to use the military on people. He's going to use the military. Like, these people are nuts. And Speaker of the House Mike Johnson cooks fake tapper. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Trump's campaign suggested he would begin previewing his closing argument Saturday night with Election Day barely 2 weeks away. But the former president kicked off his rally with a detailed story about Arnold Palmer, at one point even praising the late legendary golfer's genitalia, unquote. Mr. Speaker, you're crossing all over the country. You're working hard to get Republicans over the line in this election. You're talking about substantive issues. Is this really the closing message you want voters to hear from Donald Trump? Stories about Arnold Palmer's penis?
Well, listen, I think that the headline that I read about the rally in Pennsylvania yesterday was the big question, and it's the one that Kamala Harris has not been able or willing to answer, and that is, are you better off now than you were under the Trump administration 4 years ago? And no one can answer that question with a yes. I mean, no one. And that's why Kamala Harris herself avoids the question. Look, I've been traveling the country nonstop, Jake. I've been in over 230 cities in 40 states right now. And I'm spending these final closing weeks in the swing states, in blue states, in toss-up districts for the House. I'm absolutely convinced. There's an energy out there right now. I'm convinced that we are going to win the White House, the Senate, and the House. And we're going to have a very aggressive agenda to get the economy going again, to help everyone. Look, everywhere I go, Jake, everybody has the same concerns. They're fed up and they're fired up about the cost of living that's unaffordable now and the rising crime rates everywhere.
But this guy doesn't want to talk about that. He wants to talk about a penis joke that Donald Trump made. Like, these people are sick. They're going to keep talking about the 2020 election results and stupid jokes that Trump makes. Hannibal Lecter, like, these people are Trump deranged and they manufacture nonsense. They don't want to talk about the boring economy and cost of living and the boring topic of wars all over the world, the boring immigration topic. And when they do, they're going to gaslight about it. They don't care about that. They care about Arnold Palmer's thing.
Arnold Palmer was all man. And I say that in all due respect to women, and I love women. But this is a guy that was all man. This man was strong and tough. And I refuse to say it, but when he took showers with the other pros, they came out of there, they said, oh my God, that's unbelievable. I had to say it. We have women that are highly sophisticated here, but they used to look at Arnold and say, "Bad," but he was really something special. Arnold was something special. So I just want to tell you, you're very lucky, the people that live in Detroit, and it's an honor for me to be here because of him. And he was actually he was a great man, and I don't think there would be golf to the extent that you have it today. It probably wouldn't be that way without the great Arnold Palmer. So enjoy it, everybody. Enjoy it. And I had to tell you the shower part of it because it's true. What can I tell? We want to be honest. We want to be upfront. It's true.
Weakness on the world stage and the wide open border. And they know that Kamala Harris is responsible for those things. And they know that President Trump is offering alternatives. So put the rhetoric aside, look at the record of these two candidates. This shouldn't be about personalities, it should be about policy. And I think people are looking at that seriously, and that's why I'm convinced we're going to win.
I'm sure that you think that a policy debate would be better than a personality debate, but if President Biden had gone on stage and spoke about the size of a pro golfer's penis, I think you would be on this show right now saying you were shocked and appalled, and you would suggest it was evidence of his cognitive decline. I wonder how Trump's remarks, not just the one about Arnold Palmer.
This is literally, again, what Obama did. I already played the clip earlier in the video.
On his, quote, manhood, but everything we've heard from Trump this week, how it fits in with the analysis.
And another thing, what the hell does that have to do with cognitive decline? Like, that makes absolutely no sense. It has no correlation whatsoever. So what the hell is fake Tapper here talking about?
That the New York Times offered a few days ago. They looked at his speeches from 2015 and 2016 and looked at his speeches today and said, quote, with the passage of time, the 78-year-old former president's speeches have grown darker, harsher, longer, angrier, less focused, more profane, and increasingly fixated on the past. I know you want to talk about policy, and I respect that, but the reason that Donald Trump is not up 10 points is because of comments like that one, where people do have concerns about his fitness, his acuity, and his stability.
Okay, guys, who have you talked to out here in the world who says, well, we think that Donald Trump's going through a cognitive decline, so that's why I'm not going to vote for him? Out of all the ridiculous narratives, this is what they're going with? Guys, like, this is what I mean by fake news, okay? There's no polling or anything like that where they're looking deep into this, where it's anything serious, where anybody cares about this at all. They cared about it with Joe Biden. Joe Biden was down a bunch of points, and they tried to deny that he had cognitive issues. But now Donald Trump, all of a sudden, who's 4 years younger than Joe Biden's still the president. Donald Trump, 4 years younger, now all of a sudden, he's going through a cognitive crisis because he made a penis joke. Like, these people are stupid.
Why is he talking about Arnold Palmer's penis in front of Pennsylvania voters?
Jake, you seem to like that line a lot. Let me tell you this. Donald Trump is doing
Got him!
rallies nonstop around the country.
Let me just say something. I don't want to be talking about this. Donald Trump is out there saying it is.
But you continue to. Let's talk about.
Because you won't address
Wait a minute.
it.
Hold on.
You won't address it. He is out there talking to
voters. No, I'll address it. Let me
go
answer
ahead.
it. Okay, don't say it again. We don't have to say it. I get it. There's lines in a rally. When President Trump is at a rally, sometimes he'll speak for 2 straight hours. You're questioning his stamina, his mental acuity. Joe Biden couldn't do that for 5 minutes. That's how you started this segment. You said, what if Biden was in a rally like that? He couldn't fill the room. Donald Trump does. You know why? Because they see him as a change agent, and they understand he has a record of performance. In his first administration, we had the greatest economy in the history of the world, Jake, not just the U.S. Everybody's wages were going up. Everybody had more jobs available to them. The pathway out of poverty was widened for more people, and that's what the American people are looking at. We're going to have a demographic shift in this electorate, Jake. There's going to be, when they count the votes and they do the math on the other side of this, I'm convinced you're going to have a record number of Hispanic and Latino voters coming into the Republican Party, a record number of Black and African American voters, record number of Jewish voters and union workers and hardworking families, because they understand the Harris policies have destroyed their family finances. They have made them less safe in their cities. They have a wide open border with illegals and terrorists coming into our country. this is not working for the American people, and they want to change. And that's what they see in Donald Trump. So he has fun at the rallies. He says things that are off the cuff. But I'm telling you, I've been in those events. I've been in those arenas, and people have a great time at those arenas. So you can cherry pick a few words or lines out of a 2-hour event. We could do that with Kamala Harris after a 20-minute event, because she does word salads, and she couldn't hold court like that without a teleprompter.
Exactly.
We all know that.
So,
these are the facts. The American people see it. And, the media can pick it apart, but people are going to vote. They're going to vote what's best for their family, and they see that in Trump.
In multiple interviews this week, Donald Trump repeatedly referred to prominent Democrats and others on the left in the United States, American citizens, as, quote, the enemy from within, unquote. And he suggested as president he would want to use the National Guard or military against them. Let me play some of that for our viewers.
The bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
This guy, this guy played a deceptively edited clip. I'm gonna play the actual clip so you can see what he was actually talking about before we continue here.
Welcome back. No surprise this week to see the media critique and misread my exclusive interview with President Trump last weekend when he responded to my question about whether outside agitators would emerge to create chaos on Election Day should it appear that Trump was winning. Instead, most media outlets cut out my question entirely to suggest Trump wanted the military to take down his political enemies. Here's a clip. But I'm just wondering if these outside agitators will start up on Election Day. Let's say you win. I mean, let's remember, you've got 50,000 Chinese nationals in this country in the last couple of years. Yeah. You have people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists. Right. What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful Election Day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of Election Day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
Following my interview, Democrats and many mainstream media outlets constructed their own political narrative without including the full context of the Q&A about outside agitators on Election Day. Among the media outlets that ran misleading headlines, NPR, Vanity Fair, The Guardian, many others. And this is how the interview was covered on television. Watch this.
In a Fox News interview, the former president also suggested using the military to go after what he called the enemy from within on Election Day.
It comes as former President Trump is deploying increasingly inflammatory rhetoric against his rival and suggesting using the military against what he described as domestic enemies.
We're at the point where he's saying, I'm going to use the National Guard and the military to take my political enemies out of the country.
But I'm talking about Donald Trump saying that he wants to use the National Guard and the military to go after the left. That's what he's saying.
On the campaign trail, Trump this weekend stepping up his anti-immigrant rhetoric and suggesting he might use the military against, quote, radical left lunatics on Election Day.
And here, I was specifically asking him about the idea of outside agitators coming out, creating chaos on Election Day, should it appear that he was winning. And here, I mean, the media did not even include my question. I mean, it was amazing. Sure. Outlet after outlet, they took out my question on outside agitators entirely, and they just ran him talking about Adam Schiff or the enemy within and getting the National Guard.
Another fake news narrative debunked that the radical left is trying to propagate. Okay, more nonsense. Another reason why these people are going to lose as they get exposed. They always amplify and exaggerate any and everything that Trump says and leave out all of the context. They literally played an extremely misleading clip here and fake Tapper is over here just fake outraging. He's talking about penises, the enemy from within. I'm tired of the pearl clutching, guys. But I'm going to go ahead and let Johnson over here finish cooking this man.
Things you did when you joined Congress was to create the Honor and Civility Caucus. Does wanting to use the military against political opponents, would that pass muster with the Civility Caucus?
That's not... Jake, you know that's not what he's talking about there. What he's talking about is marauding gangs of dangerous, violent people who are destroying public property
He talked about Adam
and
Schiff
threatening
and the Pelosi's.
other American citizens.
He's not talking. I mean, Governor Youngkin tried this with me too. That's not. He was very clear. Let me play, because he was asked about this later on, because Fox always likes to give Donald Trump an opportunity to clean it up.
And so what they're doing is they're trying to take two different instances. On one hand, the first conversation, Trump's talking about reining in outside agitators. In another conversation, separate, he's talking about people like Adam Schiff. He never married the two and said he's going to use the military on people like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi. So fake Tapper here is lying yet again.
And he always says, no, I said what I meant. Here's what he said when asked about it the next day.
It is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries. If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick. And they're so evil.
So where did you hear in there, we're going to use the military on Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi? Like, somebody let me know where you heard that. What you have to do is take one conversation where in full context they talk about outside agitators, and then take a separate conversation and then try to marry the two conversations that requires mental gymnastics. And I tell you right now, I am not a gymnast, okay? Like, this requires a level of stupidity that my brain cannot possibly be downgraded to the point of being that dumb. But this is what they're trying to spin, because that's what the fake news does, is they spin phony, false narratives.
That's what he's talking about, using the U.S. military against, not marauding gangs of Venezuelan.
Wait a minute.
Adam
Hold on.
Schiff, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul. So let me just say, if a Democratic presidential candidate said that you and your wife were evil and that the military should be used against you, I would say...
Okay, so did Trump say, Nancy Pelosi's evil, Adam Schiff is evil, we're going to use the military against him? Never happened. What a freaking liar.
That's disgusting.
Well, thank you. And some have said that about us because they don't like my politics. I did not hear President Trump in that clip say he's going to sic the military on Adam Schiff. That's not what he's saying. You got two different clips in two different contexts. What President Trump is talking about is that they have been attacking and maligning him from the day he came down that golden escalator. Everybody knows that's true. In 2015, 2016, that's when this began. He's been the most attacked, maligned political figure in U.S. history. They've tried to kill him twice in the last few months. This is real, and he feels that acutely. And Jake, you would too. If you were under attack like he is all the time, every day. I mean Iran, who has assassination attempts out against him.
But that's not
crazy, dangerous people
Adam
in the
Schiff
country who
and Nancy
get
Pelosi
on
are not
rooftops
trying
and
to
take shots.
assassinate Donald Trump. I mean, there's this conflation of anybody.
They're not, Jake. They're not. But the political attacks have been relentless, and they have been baseless, and they made up the Russian collusion hoax, and they went after him and have been going after him ever since. They tried to impeach him twice. I mean, they've done real damage in American psyche. What I'm talking about is the political attacks that are so over the top. Kamala Harris has used language saying he's so dangerous to the country. I mean, I've had colleagues in the House say he must be eliminated. He must be extinguished.
He's literally talking about
this
taking
stuff
the
is over the
military
top.
and
You know
using it against Democrats. I mean, he's literally talking.
No, he's not. No,
yes, he is.
No, he's not, Jake. No, he's not.
Jake,
No, he's talking about
this guy is having these people are so desperate. Look at his little stupid weaselly face. These people are so desperate. They're trying to take two clips and trying to convince the public desperately that, no. Guys, you got to marry these two clips together, because he absolutely meant Don't worry about exactly what he said and the context and the full clips that I show. No. He absolutely meant, if you look at these two clips together, you align these two things, that this is absolutely what he meant. I'm tired of them saying this is what Trump meant. Trump can speak for himself, and he did in two separate clips about two different things. He said there's an enemy from within, and he's right. And people like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are enemies from within. In terms of military, he said that for outside agitators for political violence on election day. It's very clear, and Fake Tapper knows it. That's why they didn't play the full clip. That's why I had to play the full clip. They don't want people to see the full clip. These people are corrupt as hell. They're afraid that when Trump gets in office, he's going to rein in their lies. And you should be afraid because you're a bunch of lying cowards.
Using the National Guard and the military to keep the peace in our streets. In the summer of 2020, that my Democrat colleagues call the summer of love, it was crazy. It was mayhem, and Democratic progressive mayors and governors allowed it to go on, including Tim Walz, who allowed Minneapolis to burn, and it's still not rebuilt. Look, Trump is talking about restoring law and order, and I'm telling you, you can mock it. People in the media can mock it, but that resonates with the American people. They are sick of being afraid on the streets of their cities. Donald Trump can bring order back to the chaos. They know that. So they're willing to give a little on his, social media posts and some fun language he uses at rallies.
He called January 6th a day of love. He said that the January 6th criminals, the prisoners who violently attacked your place of work, he compared them to the victims of Japanese internment camps. And that guy is in favor of law and order?
Yes, President Trump had and kept law and order. When he says at the campaign rallies that
except on
we
January
didn't
6th.
have hot wars around the globe during his administration. No, look, he's right. Russia did not invade Ukraine under his watch. Israel was not attacked viciously by Iran and its proxies because they were afraid to do so under that commander-in-chief, under President Trump. They're not afraid right now. Our allies are nervous. Our enemies are empowered because they see an opportunity. The only person that they fear less, our enemies abroad, the only person they fear less than Joe Biden is Kamala Harris. At the end of the day, when you go into the ballot box, I would just encourage everybody, ask yourself quietly, are you comfortable with Kamala Harris being the commander-in-chief of the U.S. Armed Forces at the most dangerous moment since World War II? She could not handle that. Our enemies would have an opportunity there, and people think about those things, and that's why they're going to vote for Donald Trump.
It's like
that's why he's going to win and be reelected president.
Answering questions from a completely different interview.
You see how these propagandists operate, guys? This is why I'm so adamant about this channel and why these people need to lose. These people are literally spinning up falsehoods because they're upset that Trump is winning. They're basically upset that it looks like he's gonna win. And they basically are so Trump deranged. Their TDS is so off the charts. They're fearing that maybe Trump is gonna have some sort of retribution towards them for lying. Well, if you are so afraid of that, maybe it's best to quit while you're ahead in terms of lies and spinning false narratives, because Fake Tapper here was practically a master class in spinning a phony narrative, taking two clips and put them together. See, that's what he like. You gotta take and try to marry these two things, two independent things, and then separately say he said he's gonna use the military on people. And even in the clip the second clip that he played, they specifically asked him, "Were you talking about using the military on your political opponents?" And he's like, "No, I'm not threatening anybody." They're like, that sounds ridiculous.
More difficult are, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick and they're so evil. If they would spend their time trying to make America great again, it would be so easy to make this country great. But when I heard about that, they were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
All right.
They're the threat to democracy.
This is a question.
I'm glad I got that out.
These people are so fraudulent, guys. I'm happy as hell to expose them. Yet again, Fake Tapper lived up to the name that Trump gave him by calling him Fake Tapper in the first place. Okay, that wasn't something I came up with. That's what Trump came up with, and he deserves credit because he knows, okay? He knows. He knew before all of us. And I'm going to do God's work and keep on exposing these radical leftists each and every single day because that's what they deserve. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate y'all watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
Hey, Jake Tapper, Fake Tapper.
Jake Tapper today. He put out, no, I know you don't like him. I know, who likes him? Who the hell can like him?
Fake Tapper. It's Fake Tapper. Does anyone know him? Fake Tapper.
As one of the biggest offenders and perpetuators of fake news, that's why President Trump calls you Fake Tapper. Do you have any remorse for your reporting, which has led to an attempted assassination on President Trump?
Remember that idiot from CNN? Oops, I shouldn't say that. I'm doing a debate for them. They'll be slightly tougher. No, I have Fake Tapper as the...